This is my Brno Chair. There are many others like it, but this one is mine. I bought it on the sidewalk on 6th Avenue for $5 and have moved it from apartment to apartment all through the city. It has a slice taken out of it from the seat from my cat Benny, which I now cherish as a memento of his memory and of his destructive superpowers. The chair doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't look especially complicated at first glance. In fact, it almost looks unfinished. Yet this chair has become one of the defining objects of 20th century design. The Brno Chair sits in boardrooms. It sits in dining rooms, museums, corporate lobbies, all the way around the world. But here is the interesting question. Why this chair? What made a simple steel frame and leather seat into one of the most copied designs ever produced? The answer, I think, has surprisingly little to do with comfort, certainly. It has everything to do with a revolution in how architects thought about furniture. The Brno Chair was designed by Ludwig Mies around 1929 and completed for the Villa Tugendhat, one of the masterpieces of modern architecture. If you've seen photographs of the house, the furniture almost disappears. That was intentional. Mies didn't want furniture competing with the architecture. He wanted it to become part of the architecture. And before the 20th century, chairs generally announced themselves. Heavy carved wood, thick upholstery, visible craftsmanship. An expensive chair could be a display of status. The designers of the Bauhaus in Germany rejected that idea. Instead of asking, how can we decorate this object, the designers asked the question, what is the simplest form that still performs perfectly? The Brno Chair embodies that question. Rather than four legs, it uses a single continuous strip of steel bent into a cantilever. The back legs disappear completely. The chair seems to float. This also reflects advances in industrial manufacturing. During the 1920s, seamless tubular steel, seamless flat stock steel became available in ways it never had before. So designers suddenly had a new material palette that was incredibly strong and thin and could be bent into smooth, continuous form. So while modern architecture embraced steel for buildings, furniture followed the path. The cantilever of the frame was one of the great discoveries of modern furniture. Earlier designers had experimented with eliminating the rear legs, allowing the steel frame to flex slightly under the sitter's weight. It doesn't resist movement. The chair moves slightly with you. It's a subtle spring that makes an otherwise minimal object surprisingly comfortable. But Mies refined the idea differently than many of his contemporaries. Compare the Brno Chair with the more famous Vasily chair by Marcel Breuer. Breuer celebrated exposed tubes intersecting like a bicycle frame. The structure became the visual language. Mies reduced everything. The Brno Chair feels inevitable, as though someone simply drew one continuous line in space. This obsession with reduction reflects Mies's broader philosophy. He had a famous phrase, less is more, that was not advocating emptiness. It was about removing everything that distracts from an object's essential purpose. Every bend in the steel has a structural reason. Every seam in the upholstery has a purpose. Nothing exists simply for decoration. That doesn't mean the chair is easy to make. Quite the opposite. Achieving this degree of simplicity requires extraordinary precision. The curves have to be exact. The welds must virtually disappear. Simplicity often demands more craftsmanship than ornament. There is an irony here. The Brno Chair was created as part of a wealthy client's custom residence. It represented luxury through refinement rather than decoration. Yet its visual language has become associated with modern offices, with executive conference rooms, public buildings all around the world. The chair, designed for one remarkable house, eventually became shorthand for modern design itself. Perhaps that's the Brno Chair's greatest achievement. Nearly a century later, it still looks contemporary. Many chairs, you can guess exactly where they were designed. The Brno Chair barely does. Its forms are so reduced that it seems almost outside of fashion. That's what makes it more than just another famous chair. It isn't memorable because it's unusual. It's memorable because it demonstrates how far design can be simplified before nothing else could be taken away from it. In that sense, the Brno Chair is architecture in miniature. Steel, proportion, structure, everything Mies believed about buildings, compressed into a single place to sit.